This is Lou's Golf and Fish Club.
Testing.
Testing.
All right. Man's good.
Boom.
Ooh.
Oh, sorry.
All right. So, a lipper to start.
Got the old lipper flipper.
All right.
You ready?
Get ready.
1, 2, 3.
All right. Welcome back to another Lou's Golf and Fish Club podcast. Today is June 27th, and it is 11:07. Just turned 11:07 p.m.
Yay.
June 27th. So we're reporting live here from HQ2 over here at ADZ's basement.
Yes, sir.
So we got some catching up to do in the past few tournaments.
We're going to try to keep it as short as possible, but we got a lot to talk about. So
yeah, so we're going to try to remember everything, so bear with us. I think the last time we talked to the world, was probably about, I think it was after the first Res tournament.
First Res, yeah.
End of April. So since then, we did the Vinhill Invitational, which is the individual stroke play golf tournament we have every year. That was the first tournament we ever put on, was the Vinhill Invitational, first one.
It's the best tournament of the year.
Got all my friends, everybody that I knew played golf, invited them. We had a individual stroke play tournament. I think that one was 2-man scramble, the first one. But
yeah.
Anyways, so this year we had a new record set for the lowest individual stroke play score, which was a 71. So that was S-Buck.
Yes,
Steve
sir.
Buchanan. Yeah, he was a original too. I think he was at the first tournament we ever put on. He's been to fishing tournaments. He's one of the other guys that does like both golf and fishing. So
all the hard work's paid off.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. It's a rare breed.
Those greens were fast that day too.
Yeah. So yeah, 71. New record. The lowest individual stroke play score.
You beat Allen too?
Like Allen's lowest?
Yeah.
Yeah. Allen's never shot 71. Not
really?
In a tournament, nothing like that.
Yes, Allen needs to come back.
Ball and hole, yeah. No. He has, I think him and Brandon have the record for the 2-man scramble, which is like 8 under, 7 under, which was at Blue Ridge Shadows. But Steve Buchanan, who has this record, him and Chase shot 7 under at South Wales. I think the first or second year. So, I mean, tie 7 under, but Blue Ridge Shadows is a lot harder than South Wales.
Oh, so. For sure.
Yeah. So we had Vinhill Invitational, and then we had Aquia.
Yep.
Aquia Creek was the next fishing tournament.
So very unfortunate.
Who was your partner for that one? We can catch up on that.
Dan Wank.
Wank. That was a good one.
It's a pretty bad day for us.
Yeah.
Everybody was tearing them up, destroying it. And I mean, I wanted to fish the creek because everybody had said that they had good luck in the creek. But Wink wanted to fish grass. So I'm trying to remember, the first place we went to, there was like a boat there. But yeah, man, we just caught a decent sized snakehead, probably about 9 pounds. I'm like, really? That's freaking nuts. And so we weren't really like trying to crowd him too much, but we were just kind of like trying to share the spot. He got hit pretty hard, missed one. I missed one on the topwater spook, and I was like, I mean, I don't know if they're still hitting the topwater spook or not, but try to throw like finesse, like Cinco, and like just anything. Chatterbait, went back and forth between Cinco and Chatterbait, couldn't catch anything.
Yeah, that was like what? That was mid-May, I guess it was, or late May. So yeah, I mean, I ended up doing pretty well in that event. I was supposed to fish with Wayne, but we had a little confusion with the I guess he brought his own boat and brought his son. So
he was a little tied up with the new purchase he made.
Yeah, he just got live scope the day before, so I understood it was fine. But so I ended up fishing alone, but I've done pretty good at Aquia. I have my spots, so I ended up doing pretty good, and I think it was. Let's see, I have it pulled up right here. Yeah, I ended up getting third with 9.38.
Pretty good.
Yeah,
That's
pretty good. Yeah. So I just ran my spot, my few spots that I know back in the creek,
Yeah.
towards like the marina back there and stuff like that. And basically, once I started catching them in one spot, I fished that until they stopped biting, and then I ran up to another spot that I figured would start getting pretty good with the tide and all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
went up there and caught a few there and fished there until they stopped biting, and then just went back to where I caught them before earlier. Ran right back down, fished there. I think I actually caught a couple there again. Went back up and kept rotating, and then from pre-fishing, I had a spot like on the way out of the creek.
Yeah.
So I made time to make sure I had time to hit that with like, it had like perfect like shade lines, at that part of the day, later in the day. So ended up catching my biggest fish of the day.
Who all went there? You, Vaughn, James, Murtha, and who else?
Bunch. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
I believe. Yeah. Yeah.
We tried like a cove to the left, found like some pro angler that was out there like doing like a pre-fishing tournament or something.
Some pro. Wasn't Jacob Wheeler out there?
Jacob Wheeler. We saw Jacob Wheeler out there. We were actually trying to fish with him because he, like, out of the corner of my eye, I kept seeing him catch a fish, catch a fish, catch a fish. I'm like, dude, what are we doing wrong? Like, get closer to him. And Wink's like, dude, you can't. I'm like, he's not fishing in a tournament today. Who cares, dude? Just get as close as you can to him.
We're in a tournament.
Like, just to figure out what he's fishing with. And he's like, dude, he's got 2 power poles down. Like, he's not moving. I was like, that's fine. Let him sit there. Let's figure out what he's throwing and figure out, like, try to learn something off of the pros here. I mean, he's right there.
That's hilarious.
I mean, we just kept drifting in the freaking hydrilla, like 4 foot of hydrilla. Just, I'm like, dude, we haven't caught a single fish yet.
Dude, that's too big of water for me. That's why I've done well this year. It's just, I think the first few years, like I was getting back into it and I was taking in a lot of information and trying a lot of new shit.
Yeah.
And like trying to do too much sometimes and trying to like with baits and spots and blah, blah, blah. But like through like those like trial and errors and like pre-fishing and stuff, like I just learned to just kind of like
consolidate,
be better at what I'm good at and kind of just try to do that, and like I'm better at smaller water, like where like the creek back there, it just makes sense to me. Like certain spots is like, well, there has to be a fucking fish right there. Well, I don't care who you are, there's a fish in that spot. Like at some point in this day there's gonna be a fish there, like this, like something on a little like tree and like coming like a little current ripping out. It's like, brother, I mean, it's just so obvious to me. Like when you're out in the open, when it's like super wide and there's grass and it's like just so much, it's like, like where when we cast that huge grass field or this huge grass field, like I don't know, it's up for me.
Did you get pulled over by the game warden out there in the creek? Yeah,
and I was on a really good bite. I just missed 2 good ones. Like the first one spit the hook immediately, and the other one, I thought I stuck it good. Like I was waiting for the fucking bite, and he hit it, and boom! I'm like, oh, let's go. I'm like fighting, and like as soon as I like bent down to grab the net, like it did something and just gave it a little bit of slack, and boop, and popped off. It's like, dude. So, and right after that, they pulled up. I'm like, I saw them coming. I'm like, here we go.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm literally on these fish, like on their ass, and So
I know JC texted Brandon McCoy and was like, just letting you know if you're coming this way, like game warden's in the cove, and Wink didn't have a beer the entire day, and he's like, I kind of want to drink a beer, like. But if the game warden's up there, I don't want to have a beer. And he'd be like, "You guys been drinking out here today?" Like, I mean, I have, but he's
you can have a beer.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can have a beer open.
And I've had freaking 18 in the freaking live well.
I had empties like around like my cooler and stuff, like tucked, kind of in there. But
yeah,
I mean, it didn't take super long, but they were kind of like small talk, like
they're just doing like safety checks.
Yeah,
I'm sure you had all your safety.
So how you doing? I was like, I'm doing pretty good. I was just on them right there. Y'all could
hurry this process up.
Yeah, I was actually like put the tournaments on the one that we're running.
Yeah,
like 7 or 8 boats, something like that. He's like, we must have pulled over every guy in your tournament. Then we've everyone said something about the lose tournament or whatever.
Yeah,
I was like, yeah, probably. So I was I actually like host the tournaments. I was like, yeah, I'm actually on them right there in that little spot. Y'all, he's like, all right, we'll get out of your hair or whatever. But yeah.
If y'all want to turn your live scope on, point it right at that bank right there.
Yeah, he just safety check, had everything. I didn't have my license or my registration on me though, so I had to look it up. And I just told him I don't keep my wallet on me on the boat. So
Yeah.
he's like, "Oh, well, we have an app. You want to get the app?" Which I did that pretty easy.
Yeah.
Because I don't like bringing like my wallet and keys and all that stuff, like just in case something were to happen, like boat sinks, something happens. Like at least if I can get back to my truck and I can go home.
Right.
You know.
Boatless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like especially fishing the river. And just like in general, it's like I don't want, and I don't want to like something lose it or just like I'm just like let's just keep wallet, key in the truck. I'm like if you want to take something, unless I'm like in the ghetto or something, but
don't fish much in the ghetto.
I'm different about that. I take the Phil Robertson approach. I don't know if you ever heard him about people used to steal his like fish and stuff from when he was like a fishing for like selling the catfish and stuff for money.
Yeah.
And like a what is it kind of like a not a charter but like a when you fish for like the restaurants like basically like you sell to like the big fish companies basically. So he had these guys rednecks that were like always stealing from him and basically he started just like giving them like baskets of them of fish and like basically it was a lesson of like if you like make it easy for them to take it, they don't want it. They want like the challenge of like stealing,
the thrill,
of like breaking in and like.
Right.
But it's not when it's like easy, wide open. Like here you go, you want some fish? You just like leave them for them, or like do something that like they stop stealing from them.
Yeah,
they just gave them what they wanted. Like here, like all right, we don't actually want them anymore.
What were the totals from Aquia?
It was
You in last with 938. And then
I was in third, not last.
Yeah.
last place. That'd be pretty good. That's a good lake. If last place has 9.
I was actually in last place, but in third place.
Second place was Ant and S Buck.
Mm-hmm.
So S Buck is the golf and fisherman as well. Basically, the founders and Steve Buchanan are the only ones that do both.
Yeah,
which is awesome. That like our family is like ones that can do well. Like,
it's nice to have the commitment from both sides.
Makes sense. That's why it's Who's Golf Fish. That's why we're Who's Golf Fish Club. Because not everyone can be like compete at both.
Yeah. Like
consistently. Yeah, it takes time, and knowledge, and So anyways, first place was Mirtha and Chris Moore with 10.63. That was pretty good. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
So
good job.
Yep. I was definitely one fish away, pretty much, which I probably lost on one of those fish. And then Ant and them said they had, I don't know if they had lost anything, but that was a pretty good bag, too. They just needed one more.
No, Mirtha's definitely been killing it this year.
Mm-hmm.
Mirtha and Chris. They pretty much won all the fishing tournaments this year, I think.
Yeah.
Except for the last.
They went back to back. That was, they won the first res tournament. And then this tournament back to back.
They won Mooney too, right?
Oh yeah, three-peat?
Yeah.
Wow.
They won Aquan.
It was three-peat.
Then they won Mooney.
I think I posted about it. Back to back and then the three-peat, yeah. First three were all
They won biggest fish too, right?
Mirtha won biggest fish at the res and this one the Aquia.
So he's looking at angler of the year.
Yep. His big fish was a 4.50. Yeah. That's a good one for the Potomac. There's MLF guys that are fishing this weekend would love one of those right now.
Yeah.
For most fish.
Yeah.
Nice 4.5. Let's go.
Gotta learn how to finesse fish.
Mm-hmm.
That's a specialty.
Well, me and him, no spoilers, but we have fished Aquia together a lot, so we kind of know the same type of areas.
Yeah.
We like the same type of thing. We fish the rivers. We fished Shenandoah together, so similar like kind of ideas. Like when it gets super wide, I'm like, oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
Just give me like same with golf. Honestly, I think it's my brain.
Yeah. Like
when it's like a links like wide open course, I suck. I'm like, dude, I don't know where to hit the ball.
Open courses.
No gauge of distance. I'm scared to hit the ball.
Doesn't matter how far you shank it, left or right.
I hate it. I like dink and short, narrow, windy, like backdrop with like depth perception and like I love that. Sets up. Same with fishing too. Yeah, so that was a good tournament. I like Aquia.
Yeah,
And
Kauai's fun.
Martha was hating on Kauai before we did it. He was like, "Oh, we should do the river, Alkaline River instead." Well, dude, I like Kauai. I like fishing grass and that kind of
I mean, the only
stuff.
problem that Wink and I had was he was like, "All right, next spot I'm gonna take you to. You just there's hydrilla everywhere. Just fan cast nonstop, just fan cast." I was like,
With the
I don't.
chatterbait.
Well, I didn't. I mean, the grass was so thick I couldn't get it through. So I was like, I'm just gonna throw this like top water
Is
like.
that thick? Like all the way up?
No, it's like I mean, it's like 3-4 feet thick.
Yeah, but there's a layer on top of it, right?
No, it was just thick the whole way. The cove that we fished because it was out near the mouth. It was just thick hydrilla
To the
the
top.
whole. Yeah.
No, like empty water beneath.
Mm-mm.
It's just grass all the way to the top.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, I would be like,
And I was like, I mean, I guess I'll throw this like this frog that I have. It's like a topwater frog, like paddletail frog. So I was like throwing that out,
dude,
and I would just like kind of fish it like a buzzbait or something, and just like let it like flutter across the top. I got hit so many times, but nothing wanted to commit to it. And I'm just like, I mean, I can't throw a Cinco because the Cinco is just gonna go plop and just sit right here. So
let me try a different type of frog. Maybe a walking frog or a popping frog.
I tried so much, dude. I probably casted 200-300 times in that cove. And had like probably 10 blowups and no fish.
So there's like holes in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that's hard to fish. I like maybe like a fluke. I've caught a good amount of fluke in summer.
Yeah, fluke's nice when you have like little pockets, like a decent sized pocket, because you can throw it like a little pass, like pull it in the pocket and then just like twist it a couple times and let it sit. Yeah. But when you have no pockets, it's like, what do you want me to do, dude?
On top.
It's like, okay, like, twitch, anything, nothing, sick, got it.
Yeah, I'd be like, dude, Wink, you gotta get me to some open water, some hard cover.
So we went from that cove to the bridge, fished the bridge for a little bit, got a couple decent bites. Wink broke off. I'm pretty sure it broke off on the bridge. And then we tried that for a little bit, fished around there, and then went out to the mouth of Aquia, fished out there with Jacob Wheeler, saw him catch about 90 fish. Couldn't catch a single one. And then we were like, dude, what is going on? So then we came all the way back to the cove, and then he got that text. It was like, hey, game warden's in the cove. He's like, I'm sure he'll bust me for something. And we were just like, all right, whatever. I guess we're done. And it was like an hour till the end. So.
Well, we need to fish Aquia together. I can't give up all my locations, but
I just want to go in the creek. I've never been in the creek.
Really?
Yeah. I've been to that, like, you go in down that long stretch, and then you go in that first turn, and then maybe up just like maybe like 100 feet, and that's as far as I've been.
Why? Why don't you just go back there?
Well, Wink was like,
well, you and Chris.
Well, once you're in there, I mean, you got to commit to no wig zone. I'm just like, okay.
I mean,
so commit to it. That's where you're fishing.
It's not that far. It's not that long. And there's spots where there's no one around. Like I'll kind of push it a little bit and like kind of.
Well, and
you're like going and like someone like
Wink doesn't have spot lock, so when we went in the cove.
Yeah, that's true too. That helped me so much. When
we went in the cove, the tide was pushing us out, and we were fighting against it the entire time. And I'm just like, are you even moving? Like, what are you doing? Dude. He's like, dude, I don't know. Like, the tide's pushing me out. Every time I left the trollometer, it's like, there we go, straight out.
Dude, honestly, I might have to say that the spot lock might be the biggest help for me this year. That's why I've placed in every tournament and done well. Like, really, like, especially for stuff like that.
Yeah.
Especially that. But just in general, just sit there and pick something apart without moving. And having to keep it going up and sliding on the bank, going up, sliding on the bank. You can be more specific about what you're fishing.
Just hold your spot.
We're talking about like wasting time, like gliding down the bank. You get lull into that lull, just keep going. You don't want to keep going up and keep going up.
Yeah.
The spot lock, you just
yeah.
But like that tide was ripping.
Yeah.
On that tournament day, and that's what I was talking about. Like I knew that there were in these certain spots. Like, I mean, there has to be a fish right there. There's current right here. There's a dock or a tree or hard cover right there and grass. Like, and you can see the eddy where it's like, going back the other way. I know from the river.
Yeah.
You see the eddy. I'm like, all right, there's fish right here somewhere.
And I mean, for me, like when we first went into the cove, it was difficult for me to fish because, like, for me on my boat, I have north up, so I can like get the boat off the bank a little bit, hit north up, and not. I don't have to ever hit the trolling motor ever again, and we'll sit there right on that bank, just going back and forth, so both people can fish. But I'm sitting on the side with like maybe like this much space to cast into, and I'm like,
well,
what do you want me to do with
you
that?
need to tell Wink that according to the the Lose stats, you guys have fished way better as a team when it's when y'all are in your boat.
Yeah,
you almost won that one tournament. You were like, didn't you get third?
When
it was Alderman, Sean, and y'all.
Yeah,
y'all like 9 pounds or something like that. You've always done well in your boat, and you almost won the river tournament by yourself.
Best captain right
here. Your finger was messed up this tournament, but
yeah.
Like, dude, every time we do well as a team, it's in my boat with me making the decisions.
Yeah.
So let's and you have spot lock. You have the setup.
Yeah, I have spot lock. I have north.
You have a tournament setup.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a tournament setup. Like,
he's got a. I mean, the only reason we took his boat is because he's got a 24-volt, 80-pound thrust trolling motor, so he can cut through the grass better than I can. That's the only reason.
Yeah, but you don't even need to fish that heavy of grass. You don't need to. I never dealt with that one time.
I mean, he was, dude. He scared me probably the most he's ever scared me in my entire life. We came out of the mouth into the cove to try to fish there one last time, and this motherfucker was on pad doing about 55 miles an hour in 2.5 to 3 foot of water, just getting it into this bank and into this cove, and I'm like, is he ever gonna stop? Like, when are you going to stop?
What are we doing?
He's just like, whoo. I'm like, the bank's ending in like 100 feet. And then he's like, whoo, just straight off of it. And I'm like, whoo, here we are. We made it. And he looked over at me and he was like, how scared were you? I'm like, about 9 out of 10. Pretty scared. I thought we were just going to send it like full-fledged straight into the bank. He's like, and he's just like, ha, 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 ha. I'm like, hilarious, dude. Love it. Love it. Yeah.
Dude, your face, like, how scared are you? that's
like,
such a Wink moment. Christ. That's hilarious. And he was telling me about it afterwards. Or me and him went fishing at Lake Manassas, a little spot one day. Took him out there, and he was telling me about all that. It's so funny.
Dude, I looked. I'm like looking out of the back of the boat, and you can just see Hydrilla just going like this, and I'm just like, what is going on?
Was Jacob Wheeler still there? He's like, what?
No, Jacob Wheeler was out on like the mouth.
Oh, okay.
And we were like, I mean, his boat does like 55 with two people, like half tank of gas, and he's just full throttle. We're on like up on pad like this, and I'm like looking back, and I'm like, okay, I don't know how shallow it is here, and I don't know how well your depth finder works, but we're running out of water.
Running out of water fast, boys.
Freaking nuts,
that's
dude.
Hilarious.
The
he's hilarious.
He loves Bass Tracker.
He loves messing with you. For sure. He loves getting like pushing your buttons and like getting you like that. Like he like gets off on that. It's so funny. Not funny when your life is on the line, but
how many life jackets you got on here?
Even when I was fishing with him, he's like, "Yeah, I shouldn't have been doing that. That was little." But as I was saying, when you told me about that, I was saying, well, the only thing that is the only thing with the Potomac, and especially Aquia, like that whole bottom is pretty much just like muck. And when it says 2.5, 3 feet, that's because the hydrilla is to the fucking top of the water, to the surface, and it's just like reading the top of the hydrilla, pretty much the roots of the hydrilla. The whole bottom is like just roots and hydrilla and mud and shit.
I mean, him and I went out there another time and like tried to pre-fish it, and he's like, "Why is everybody leaving?" I'm like looking through my phone, looking at tide charts and all that stuff, and I'm like, "Well, dead low tide is at 4:00 and it's 3:50. So why do you think everybody's leaving the water?" He's like, "We'll be fine. We'll be fine." We get out there and I look at his depth finder, and it's like 2.5 feet. I'm like, he's like, "All right, you ready to go? You ready? You got everything strapped in?" I'm like, we have 2.5 feet of water. I mean, I guess. And he's like, all right, let's go. He like tries to punch it. The boat's like, whoop, just straight up.
Wheelie?
And, huh?
Did it wheelie?
Yeah, straight up. I mean, it's probably like 6 feet off the ground, the nose of the boat, all the way up. And I'm like, dude, just wait. Like, let's get out in the channel a little bit and let's get out there and let's like see like when we find maybe at least like 4 feet of water. And he's like, no, it's fine. I've done this before. I'm like, okay, dude, I guess try it again. And he's like, whoop, whoop, whoop. And then all of a sudden it's like, and he caught a freaking like rope that was like this thick in the prop, caught like a kite of some sort. And for like 30 minutes, we're sitting there like digging with freaking like knives and stuff, trying to cut this freaking rope and kite out of the prop. And I'm like, dude, it's like 5 seconds more out into the cove. It's like, it's not that big of a deal. And he's like, no, it's fine, And I'm like, well, now we're sitting here like ducks going back towards the boat ramp. Like, we could have just waited a couple seconds and we would have been fine. It's like, dude.
Shout out to Wink.
Yeah. Huge shout out. Can't wait to see you, bud.
Aaron's fed up with Wink.
Dude. And then after the quiet tournament, he was like, maybe we're just not meant to fish with each other. We do so bad.
Like a married couple.
We do so bad with each other. And I'm like, I mean, we did good that one tournament. But
one tournament.
I mean,
I think y'all have done pretty decent together when y'all are in your boat.
Yeah.
Honestly, not to say that we can't fish, but
yeah,
I just feel like, you have the spot lock and that kind of thing. I don't know. And shallow, like I don't know, shallow fishing. You can be on the front with your jackhammer, and he can be on the back. With whatever. I don't know what he likes to throw, but.
I mean, he was definitely throwing the jackhammer in the last tournament, pretty consistently. But I'm like always like fanning super far cast out, like trying to figure out what's going on, what kind of structure I'm hitting. So when we get up to it, I know when to finesse and throw like shaky head or whatever, kind of dial it down a little bit.
Yeah,
but
I do too.
But he's like, dude, you missed that big fish. You missed that 6-pounder on a jackhammer chatterbait. You need to throw that all day. I'm like, it was like luck of the draw, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, they hit it, but where did he hit it? Was it in this pocket of grass? Okay, so now let's throw like a shaky head or a crawdad like right up next to him and just finesse it in his face and kind of tease him a little bit so that he wants to hit it.
Yeah.
But you can't just throw a jackhammer chatterbait all day because the jackhammer chatterbait works.
You have to know when to throw it and when to put it down.
Yeah.
That's the hardest part. Yeah. Same thing with a glide bait. You have to know when to put it down and when to like situational bait.
Yeah.
Or like using it as like a search bait. I kind of, that's how I thought, like, use the jackhammer as like a search bait, especially pre-fishing or like start tournament morning. I'm on the front, like you said, just like shoo, bombing it down the side of these grass banks or whatever, and just doing that, until you maybe find one. Like, okay, and that's what we were doing. Kept doing that. We did that for a while, and then I caught. This was the most recent tournament, but yeah.
I mean, I'm making like probably 60 to 80 feet cast, like with the microchip that I have. Dude, I'm freaking bombing it as far as I can go. And I'm like, okay, there's a log way up there. I'm gonna try to get as close as I can. I get to like 2 feet, and just slowly see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
If I get a hit like almost at the boat, I know, okay, when I get up to it, they're hitting in 8 feet of water.
Yeah,
they're not hitting in 2 feet; they're hitting in 8. So then when I get up to the next spot, I know. Back off a little bit, go to cast into 8, and then just let it sit there, and then you should get a bite.
Yeah. I mean, we can talk about the most recent tournament.
Yeah.
That's what's most fresh in my mind. But like I caught that first one. I caught one dink and then the 4.5 on jackhammer, and then Wayne was like, "Give me one of those things," I'm like, dude, because he was throwing a chatterbait, he was throwing a clickbait, Google clickbait. Yeah. I was like, I have another jackhammer. Like, hey, feel the difference, and he put it on there. First cast is like, oh yeah, like that's crazy. Like you can really slow roll it, the difference, blah blah.
Yeah.
And like second or third cast, boom, caught like a 3-pounder, and then we kept hitting those all morning, but we didn't really catch any more on that. So we put it down, and the sun started coming up, and just figured they might not be as active chasing and stuff. They might be settling down under these shade, more like spots. That's when we started fishing like jig and the 10-inch worm, and he was throwing the tequila sunrise, that kind of thing. And then we didn't really, here and there, I'll just like get bored of dragging a jig or worm, and then I would pick up chatterbait and just, certain depth. And we get to like 12 and under depth. Yeah. My ADD, I think, I always have to like, no matter if I'm even catching them on a certain bait. Like, I'll catch them 3 or 4, and then 5 or so casts, I don't catch anything. I'm like, pick up a moving bait and just just keep my stay active, But
we'll end it for now.
Yeah, how many minutes is that?
Part 2. It's probably like 26.
Camera might
probably
be done.
27.
All right, we'll be back for part 2.
Peace.
Peace.
Love you.